What is up, everyone? Happy Football Friday. It's gonna be a gloomy one here in Milwaukee, but got some rain coming in, severe thunderstorms. So got a real short show today. Not much going on in between our two shows this week. Getting to that point in the off season where it's the second kind of wave of free agency, third wave really at this point, and we're just waiting on the draft now. We are less than a month away from the 2023 NFL draft. Very excited for that to happen, and get to know who the Panthers are taking at number one overall. Hopefully Bryce Young, but I digress. We'll talk about some XFL week 7 at the end of the show here once we get through a little bit of the NFL news that we have going on currently. Just a couple signings. So we'll start with a number change. Bengals wide receiver T. Higgins switching from number 85 to number 5. This is, just something to get us some news around the league. So taking off that 8 from his 85 and leaving the 5 there on the jersey. Going to be interesting to watch. T. Higgins 1 for Jamar Chase, number 5 for T. Higgins in that new number there. The Seahawks, interesting situation today. They withdrew the restricted free agent tender from safety Ryan Neal. He is now a free agent. Nice season last year. I think over 60 tackles and helped that defense on the back end as a young player. So we'll see if someone else picks him up now that he is a free agent. One re-signing to mention, the Cowboys re-signed defensive tackle Jonathan Hankins to a 1-year deal traded from Vegas last year to Dallas. Really solid depth piece for their defense on that interior defensive line. Free agent signings, again, I mentioned it's like the third wave of free agency, so there's not many big names getting signed, but pieces that teams need right now. So the Falcons, this one was a big name. They signed Ravens defensive tackle Calais Campbell to a 1-year, $7 million fully guaranteed deal, $9 million max. Really good deal for Campbell at this stage in the calendar year, and really big deal for the Falcons as well, helping their defense. Once again, that was what they mostly focused on this offseason, getting Jesse Bates, looking at probably drafting a corner. They got some defensive linemen as well. So, yeah, the Falcons all in on the defense, probably going to look at the offense and some little bit more defense in the draft. The Lions, they signed a familiar face. Jaguars wide receiver Marvin Jones Jr. heads back to Detroit, 1 year, $3 million, $5 million max value there. And, yeah, I think it's a good signing for Detroit. It's just, we'll see if he can reproduce his old Detroit ways. He'll be down the depth chart just like he was in Jacksonville. The Lions have some good receivers, even though DJ Chark gone now. But I don't expect Marvin Jones to be much more than the number 3 in Detroit. So, yeah, we will see. The Eagles, I really liked this one for the Birds. They signed defensive tackle Kentavious Street to a 1-year deal. Really solid year for the Saints last year. I think 3.5 sacks is what I read. And gonna be a nice key depth addition to that 8-man defensive line rotation that the Eagles like to run. So like it. The Falcons also signing Buccaneers wide receiver Scotty Miller. That's an interesting one. Scotty was a Brady favorite there in Tampa, But moving in the division to Atlanta, and we'll see. We'll see how much it does. Just a notable name there. The Cardinals getting some much needed help at corner, signing Falcons corner Rashad Fenton, most notably from the Chiefs. But again, it's a guy who has experience. The Cardinals need all the help they can get in the secondary right now outside of Budda Baker. So, yeah, I like the signing for Arizona, and hopefully Fenton works out for them. The Steelers, I don't know if this one is an actual signing yet, but I do know they did sign him yet. The Steelers signed Bucks linebacker Keanu Neal, linebacker safety hybrid. Kind of like when they had Mark Barron a couple of years ago. So we'll see how Keanu Neal works out, but I like it kind of. It depends what role the Steelers use him in, because they do need some linebacker help on that off-ball spot, but I'm just not sure if Keanu Neal is the guy. And then finally, the Colts, they signed Bears running back Darrington Evans, most notably the Titans draft pick 3 years ago, or actually just a couple years ago, I believe 2021. So yeah, a depth addition for the Colts backfield behind Jonathan Taylor, a guy that's nice out of the backfield catching the ball. So I think that's a good signing there. A couple of visits. One is a workout, actually. The Cowboys worked out Seahawks wide receiver Laquan Treadwell today, former Vikings first-round pick. Never really worked out a couple different places, but trying to latch on in Dallas like he did in Seattle last year. And the Ravens, they hosted Rams wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. for a visit. So maybe Odell has a spot finally. Nothing has come of that since, though. So still looking out for an Odell signing, just like we're waiting for Aaron Rodgers. So that is all the NFL news. Let's move on to XFL pick standings. 3-1 around the horn last week. So it was a good week. Bounce back for myself. I know definitely I went 1-3 a couple weeks ago, but yeah, 3-1. We all had the same picks. Got the Renegades wrong. They lost to the Brahmas. So Logan Mark stay at the top 18-5. 1 game up on myself at 17-6. Week 7 action kicks off tonight. The Seattle Sea Dragons are in Arlington to face the Renegades. Sea Dragons on a 4-game win streak, moving into second place in the North Division, 2 games back of the DC Defenders. Yeah, we are all on the Sea Dragons. I don't know what Arlington can do. I don't know who's going to play quarterback for them. Kyle Sloter released. They do still have Drew Plitt. Not sure if it's going to be Drew Plitt. They traded for Louis Perez. So not sure if it's Louis Perez or Drew Plitt in this game. We will wait and see when the inactives come out, I guess, an hour and a half before game time. The total is 37.5. I'm going with the under. I know Seattle can score. Arlington's defense is really good, though. So I'm going to go with the under 37.5 in this one. 7 p.m. FX and ESPN plus. So we got about a half an hour until the inactives come out, and we should know then who is starting for Arlington at quarterback. Tomorrow, April 1st, the San Antonio Brahmas heading to Las Vegas to face the Vegas Vipers. 2 teams kind of down on their luck. Vegas, I would believe, is going to be Brett Hundley at quarterback. I have to think that's who they're going to go with. San Antonio, also not really sure. I think it would be Jack Cohn or Kurt Bankert. So those are really the only options. I think for San Antonio, we'll have to see. I probably get Kurt Bankert, I think is going to be the starter, but not sure, just like Arlington there. Logan and I are on the Brahmas. They're the underdogs technically, but they have the best defense in the XFL in terms of points allowed per game, around 14.8 points per game allowed. Really solid. Now they have faced back-to-back weeks of the Arlington offense, which has been just anemic with Kyle Sloter at quarterback. So maybe that's a factor. But when you look at their totals each week, they really, I think besides week one, they really have held opponents down. And it's kind of surprising that they're 2-4 because of the low point totals that they have held to on defense. Vegas, on the other hand, not as good on defense. Really bad, actually. They allow the second most points in the XFL right now, just behind the Orlando Guardians. So, yeah, I think the San Antonio offense should be able to score on this Vegas team based off specifically the last 3 games. They've given up 30-plus points per game. So, Mark, I understand he's going with the Vipers as the favorite at home. It's not really a home atmosphere at Cashman Field. And I just like the Brahmas, and so does Logan. So going with Hines Ward here, finally. Over-under is 38.5. Again, because of the Brahmas defense, the uncertainty at quarterback for both teams, kind of. I'm going to go with the under 38.5. Think that's a safe play in this one tomorrow. 3 p.m. ESPN2 and ESPN Plus. The second game on Saturday, Defenders at the Guardians, the only undefeated team, my DC Defenders in Orlando to face the Guardians. 10-point favorites, just crazy. I mean, I didn't bet this game. I bet the other 3 games because I just didn't like any of the lines in this one. The money line is outrageous, of course, with a 10-point spread. And the 10-point spread, I'm not sure on either. Now, DC can go in there and just crush Orlando, but this is a trappy kind of game feel on the road. So, and the Guardians have played well the last 3 games. So Quentin Dormady, I think, will get the start once again for Orlando. And it's just, DC's got to do what they do, run the ball. Jordan Ta'amu threw it excellently last week, but I think they're going to run the ball again against this Orlando defense that has struggled mightily, giving up the most points in the XFL. So give us the DC Defenders 7-0. We're going 12-0 shopping soon. That's the goal there. Total is 45. It's the highest of the weekend. And I don't know. I don't know if it's going to get there or not. I think 45 is a little high, but because of what Orlando allows on defense, DC really is not the greatest in terms of points allowed per game. They're kind of middle of the pack. So I think why not go over 45? 6 p.m. ESPN and ESPN Plus. And Sunday, the week 7 capper here, the St. Louis Battlehawks in Houston to face the Roughnecks. Again, Mark Lone Wolfing, of course, he's going with his Battlehawks there, which is a decent selection. I think Logan and I are on the Roughnecks. They've lost 2 straight now, and it's not looked very good for Wade Phillips' crew, especially on offense. So Brandon Silvers or Cole McDonald, not sure if they're going to make a quarterback switch or not to McDonald because of how well he played in that second half, really just the fourth quarter against DC last week. But the Battlehawks, I could see them winning this game if Houston comes out flat for the 3rd straight week. But I'm leaning on Wade Phillips, the veteran that he is at coaching. I'm leaning on Brandon Silvers getting back on track on offense, and that Houston crowd is going to give them some some oomph behind their team. And also, the Houston defense is one of the best defenses in the XFL. Top 3, I believe, in points allowed per game. So give me that Houston defense. That's why I'm picking this Roughnecks team this week. Total is 44, and I'm going with the under just because of that defense there. St. Louis defense is average, but the Roughnecks defense is pretty elite. So give me the Roughnecks defense and the under in that one. 2 p.m. ESPN and ESPN Plus on Sunday. And that's it for the show today. I haven't gotten any new updates through the Twitter feeds. So that is the show for today. Thank you all for watching. Next week, we'll be back on Football Friday talking XFL Week 8. It's just progressing very quickly here towards the end of the XFL season and the playoffs. So we'll give you all the XFL game previews for the next 4 games in Week 8, along with all college football and NFL news. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media at FAA Podcasts on Instagram and Twitter, FAA_bets on Twitter as well. FAApodcast.com is our website. You can check us out here on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. And also, right now, flip over to Twitter Spaces. Make sure you follow Troy Hermo on Twitter. I will be hopping onto his Twitter space right now, just to talk baseball, actually, and give out my XFL picks as well. So make sure to flip over and follow his Twitter whenever his Twitter space kicks off around 5:30 here in about 13 minutes. So again, thank y'all for watching.